Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Nathan Ross Rees Reformer Podcast. We're coming to you today from Las Vegas. I'm here with the lovely Ashley Ansuini. Yes,
Yes.
amazing. Now she goes by Ashley Sue on Instagram. Studio owner in Las Vegas, 3 studios. Made a big switch a couple of years back, pursuing this new career. And one of the big focuses today I would really like to dive into is her amazing ability to create an epic community. I got to witness that firsthand last night. We did a rooftop session mat class, and we're talking like 40 degrees, like 100 Fahrenheit. We still had like almost 200 people on the roof, So it's a massive pull, massive draw card. You've massive community you've created, and just like to know a little bit more today about your journey. So how did it start? What was the initial trigger which kind of got you interested in moving this direction career wise?
There's a long path to this place, but I feel like at the same time, like I just always like was meant to be here. Like every little step that I took along the way was like a perfect building block to this place. But short version, I was a dancer as a kid. I was not really an athlete, but definitely lots of dance, but competitive dance. So kind of that same like strenuous, like we're always moving. And then obviously you kind of leave that when you leave school and you're like, what should I do next? So I naturally found group fitness, which I think is where this all kind of led to. But I mostly just took classes. I never thought anything much of it from there. I just always loved to work out. Did hair, went back to school, did marketing, worked in retail, all of the things. And I was happy, like life was good. But somewhere in my 30s, I was just like, I had this calling, like I needed a business of my own. I worked with a lot of small businesses in my career. And so there's just something so awesome of like watching somebody work for themselves and grow. It's almost like a child, like grow a child of this business idea. But I just didn't know what the idea was. So I was really, really leaning heavily towards cycling, like a spin studio, because that was kind of my favorite thing over the past like decade. But they for some reason here in Las Vegas, they haven't really landed, and so it felt risky, and I was also scared to leave my job, and I was just waiting for the right thing, and then a friend of mine told me to try a Pilates class, a reformer Pilates class. I had done mat Pilates, but here in Vegas they're all hot, so there definitely wasn't drawn to that. But she told me to try a reformer class, and I was like, "Mm, really? Like, it's not for me." I took the class anyways, and on that reformer bed, I was like, "This is it. This is the class. This is the work. This is the business." I knew immediately that there would be a business because it was hard to get into the class. It was waitlisted. And this was in just after, like, this was during COVID. So, like, we were in masks. So, even in the mask, I was like, this is so much fun. It's like combining the group element, it's combining community. Like, we're working out together. There's strength component, which I love. There's kind of a choreography component, but not too confusing like dance. I knew right there. And I took a few other classes around town just to be sure that I wasn't just like, crazy. And I knew. I came home, I told my husband, I'm like, this is it. This is the business. And I looked around and found a teacher training program that happened to be starting within like the month that
Mhm.
I took this first class. And I sent the owner or the person running the program an email and said, hey, like, I don't have a lot of experience in Pilates, but can I do the teacher training? And she was like, sure. Like, sure, join us. And I did. So I did teacher training with the intention of opening a studio. I didn't know that I would love teaching as much. That came later. But I did know that I really wanted to have a studio, to have a place where people could feel that feeling that I felt when I
Mhm.
was on that reformer bed the first time.
Wow, how exciting!
Yeah.
So, what was the time frame between doing your first ever class, completing your instructor certificate, and then opening the first studio?
That was about 18 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
Straight into the deep end.
Wow. Wow is right. Yeah. I took the class, did the training, and I know that I took the full year to do the training. In America, we have kind of like a baseline for classical training, which is around 400 to 600 hours. I did a 450-hour program, and I had a full-time job. And I also liked my job and I loved the people that I worked with. So I kind of was just like, they thought it was a hobby. I kind of knew I was going to leave, but I didn't know how long it would take. Like I thought maybe I'll do training and teach somewhere else first, but I just at the same time was like, but why? Like just do it, just do it. And so I took my test out and my national test out like almost to the day a year that I finished or that I started. And I believe that was in February and I signed a lease in July, I think. We moved in and opened our doors October 1st. So,
Wow, that's
yeah.
so good.
Yeah, it's crazy I I I don't know, stupid, but at the same time it was like, let's try. And I started small. We started with a small space. I signed a 3-year lease, so, like, a safer time period. I think, like, most, commercial spaces are 5, 10 years, and so I was able to sign I mean, he was taking a chance on me. I was taking a chance on the business, so it was, like, a great fit for 3 years, and even at the time, it was still close to COVID, and, equipment was hard to get. So, like, we couldn't
Mm.
even get like, when I signed the lease, I think I had already ordered the reformers, and only 5 of them were on like in the United or actually in North America. They came from Canada, and then the other 5 were like on a boat coming from Europe, So, it was a weird time, a risky time, but I think because of all of those like baby steps, it was safe and it was like I could prove the concept and make sure that I wasn't just like delusional.
Yep.
So yeah,
Well,
here we are.
everyone needs a little bit of delusion at the start. That
You
definitely
do.
helps. I think that's exciting, taking a big leap of faith, trusting your instincts to go for it. It sounds like you had a lot of experience in the business side of things to kind of give you a lot of confidence in the setup phase. And then to step in, I imagine you're teaching pretty much all the classes at the
Mhm,
start.
mhm. Yeah, I was so what's really nice and fun is that I did the teacher training and they all knew that I like the girls I was in the training with all knew that like this was my goal. And so like we joked that like we'll work together like you can come work with me. And a few of them did. And so I was able like, they were new teachers too, so they didn't have, like, massive expectations of getting, immediately full classes and full hours. So they, got on sub lists at other studios, but they also, took a chance on me, and some of them are still on my, like, class roster to this day, but I did mostly teach a lot of the classes. I was the only sub. I think I was teaching, like, 40 to 60 classes a week for the first year.
Damn.
Yeah. But I got really good really fast.
Yeah, well, you literally took on pretty much the entire workload. So, like, you got all the admin, all the organization, all the classes. That
Yeah.
must have been a pretty, like, stressful, rewarding, but tough time.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. There's not much more than that. Yeah. It was I mean, the good news is like you said, being delusional is probably for the best because I think if I would have known all of the back end, I probably would have resisted or waited. And I think when you hesitate, you lose opportunity. And
Mm.
I mean, now we're in the Pilates golden era. And if I would have missed like getting my foot in the door first, I would really be sad right now, I think, because
Yeah.
the competition is tight and tough. But at the same time, like, it's growing pains, it's fun, like, you don't know what you don't know, so it's a lot, but there's something magical about I mean, obviously, I think owning your own business is great, but when you own a business that, like, the outcome of it is positive,
Mm.
like, we're changing lives, we're making people happy, we're growing like, people are meeting their best friends in class and, like, developing these, like, great, amazing, like, lifelong friendships, and I get to see all of that, and, obviously, the success stories of, like, I got to walk through Europe because of Pilates, I got to pick up my like, all of those great stories. So, it's hard, but, like, like, I can't imagine stopping or
Yeah.
saying, "Not today," because of that. So,
Yeah. That's true. Yeah, it's very rewarding when you get that kind of feedback from your classes saying that you've actually impacted the quality of life.
yeah.
Um, you're kind of creating like a hub for the community to a place to connect, like a third space, which is
Yeah.
really cool. Um, so with your approach to community, um, just from our conversations yesterday, I remember feeling really impressed about your creativity in finding new ways to create community events, like even outside of the studio location. So could you share with us like your philosophy on why that you started to do this?
I think there's 2 things. Obviously, creativity, I kind of have that, like that's my background. I like have always been drawn to art and like beauty, and my background was like in from cosmetology to like beauty marketing and retail. So I'm drawn to shiny things and pretty things and fun things, and I can't turn that off. So there's that, but I also feel like reformer Pilates is a luxury and it
Mm,
is inaccessible to many people. So there was 2 things. It was how can we maybe bring this experience outside of the studio if the studio isn't accessible? I also have many ideas on how to make it more accessible, at least at certain times or in certain ways. But the mat is free. I tell my students this all the time, like you can put a mat anywhere. I mean, we were just in a parking garage. This morning I was at a pool, like on a mat. You can be anywhere and anyone can pick up a mat, at the dollar store. And it brings the barrier to entry so much. It widens the net, and it also just makes it feel like less intimidating, less daunting, things like that. I know it's hard because the mat obviously is humbling and is a harder modality, I think, to teach and to do as a new mover, but anyone can walk through a door or a park or a space on a mat. So getting people out of the studio or meeting us out of the studio first sometimes is like just a great way to get into the community because we can't bring everyone into those doors, and it also just is fun. Las Vegas is notoriously hot, obviously, and we spend a lot of time indoors. So I think we naturally are drawn to things that are like outside, even if it is 110 degrees outside. You're like, why are we on the rooftop? It's so hot. But we don't get to go outside for much. So like it's kind of interesting. Like you think like we live in a sunny place, like why are we not outside? But it's because it's so hot. So anytime we can meet and move together, especially outdoors, it's just a draw. So outdoor events is like one of the ways that I can bring costs down and b just grow the amount of people that can come. And then it's a great way to invite community partners. So if we do a
mm,
class, even in studio and out of studio, I love to like, who's the local vendor, who's the coffee shop, who's the florist, who's the local jewelry maker, who's the girls that are doing the facials and the skin, any kind of business that is like somewhat related or I know that our clients would be into, like, hey, let's partner up because we share clients and let's
mm.
widen our reach.
Yep.
It's also something scrappy that it costs a lot less to do stuff like that than it does to like buy a billboard or run a ad on TV. So, and honestly, I think it works better, and you're it's helping you get to the goal, and the goal is to get more people moving or get more people
Mm.
into the studio eventually.
Yes. Uh, I'd say it's quite intelligent, really. Obviously, lowering the barrier to entry, broadening the potential people that can do it. But just for anyone who wants an insight to what it was like, there was like these 4 massive speakers set up. You had like a branded car, you had like flyers. You know what I mean? Like it was proper organization. Like it wasn't just the mats. You know what I mean? So you had obviously invested a bit more in the setup, but that definitely pays off because I was witnessing conversations with people, saying, "Oh, you should definitely come to class." Oh, Ashley's my favorite instructor, and kind of that is the starting point for like a lot of people.
Yeah.
So it's really good.
Yeah, and we've been doing that consistently for now we've been in that location for 2 years, coming up in October. So, it started smaller. I mean, I would say it probably started with, like, 30 or 40 people and grew to about the 300 that we average right now, but we're consistent. We show up unless there's lightning, like, we will be there, and I think that's important. Like, it's easy to, like, wanna cancel when it's too hot or when it's a little bit windy or when I can't find a sub or, it's easy to just call those things off, but you can't. You have to show up for the community because this might be the one thing in their week that they're looking forward to.
Mm,
Or maybe they invited their friends and, they want to show them how cool it is. And, so I think being consistent has been key to that. And there's been obviously lots of learning lessons like how do we put sound on a roof? Because every time it's grown 50 plus people, we had to add another speaker, and we're really lucky we have community partners like that. That specific event is co-branded with the actual space that we are in.
yep.
So I think that's really helpful when you are looking for a space. Like, are they going to be a community partner with you and help you with those things? Because if you have a landlord or if you're in a space that won't allow it, it's tough because then you're constricted to your 4 walls, and as we know, most those four walls are expensive and they're small, and we probably crammed as many reformers into them as we possibly can. So, so it's nice to have like that, like you said, it's almost like a fourth space from our third space.
Yeah. So you've got the rooftop class. You've got a poolside class at Resort World, which is a really awesome looking hotel. Can't wait to check in today.
Yeah.
So just those two events each week?
Yeah, so those are our weekly events. And then we typically run at least 2 to 4 charity events. So it's like we try to like partner with a charity, partner with a community partner. And sometimes we can't find that and we'll just raise money for something in class. But we usually try to do at least 2 to 4 of those per year. And then we're yes people. So like we invite people in to host their own events. We've got like a group of nurses coming in to do an event. I'm not sure if it's like this in Australia, but right now there are some teachers who are purely only eventing and not like on schedules at studios. And so they have their own communities, like almost like run clubs, but like Pilates clubs
Cool.
that they're doing like Pilates and coffee at different. So they'll like come to your studio or come to your space and kind of like pop in. So that's starting to happen. We're starting to host some of those. And then also just like adjacent. So like we've brought in like a massage therapist and like IV companies and people like that to come like rent and be in our space and kind of service our customers at the same time. So it feels like an event and it feels fun, but they're still just coming to their regular class and then they get something afterwards. So we're always doing something.
Yeah.
Our schedule is insane.
So when you first opened, how many studios were there in Las Vegas?
That's a really good question. We opened at an interesting time. There was one studio that was like really dominant. And they had 3 locations, I believe. And then there was the Club Pilates, which is like the national franchise here. And I think they had probably like 5 or 6. And then there was a couple little one-offs, but most of those one-offs were very rooted in classical or rehab. So they were not like offering large groups. So there wasn't a lot of group. I know there was like one that had closed and there was a little sprinkling of Legree, but I don't know, maybe 10 in the whole city. And this is a big city. I think we have a little over 3 million people. So lots of opportunity, but now I bet you there's 50, 60. I mean, every day I hear of a new one.
Yep.
It's wild. Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, it's great, but it's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I think, people are kind of just doing the old copy and paste, like they see a system which is working, and they see, the structure, the class size, the amount of reformers, and, have a go themselves. And
Yeah.
I mean, you have an entrepreneurial spirit, particularly in America, where people like to have a go. And I don't have anything against that at all. I think that's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
So it's kind of an open market to do your best. But I think the advantage you have is obviously quite well established, strong community. And then like the offering, you've been kind of honing and refining that now. So if anything, you're probably better positioned for expansion than most of the competitors in the local environment. So is that something you're considering at the moment?
Yes and no. I think yes, obviously always. Again, the mission is more bodies moving, and the thing about Reformer Studio is you're only you can only service however many people per hour that you have reformers. So that caps you. And so you truly could be in every neighborhood if you really had the capacity. But the capacity is intense. We've basically added a studio every year that we've been open. And then one of those studios, the original, the OG that I was telling you about, it was small and had that 3-year lease. So we were waitlisted and we only had room. Like we could not fit another reformer in there. It only had 10. And so we moved that one. So we've technically grown to 3 locations, but one of them grew in size. It like tripled in size. We decided to add a Cadillac room and a mat room. So not only did we grow in footprint, but then obviously the one got more reformers and more equipment. So that hour per day, we were able to get more people in. However, I'm still just me.
There's not 3 more of you.
There's not 3 more of me. So what we're going through right now is, what does this look like? We kind of almost have 3 studios, and they all have kind of like a different footprint and a different almost like a different business model. One is more mat focused. One has all 3, like essentially 3 different ways to do Pilates or 3 different rooms to like move in. And then one is just your classic, the one that you saw last night, actually, 14 reformers, that's it. And so what I kind of really envision is it's three business models, like let's say our A, B, and C. Not every neighborhood could sustain an A, and not every neighborhood would want, the B or the C. So it's interesting to think about like, can we perfect each one over the next year? Because we just
Mm.
barely opened the mat studio. It's been it's been about 90 days because we're like reevaluating the schedule now. So that one's too early to tell, but maybe over the next year, really like looking at all three and then like looking at new neighborhoods and new opportunities and saying like, okay, this is an A studio neighborhood and this is a B studio. And maybe the C studio, the mat studio goes out further where there are less people, but there is the demand of like something, like a
Mhm.
good place somewhere. So yeah, because like they each have a different output as far as, well, obviously income, but the one that we just opened was a lot less expensive to open than, a reformer Cadillac,
Mm.
extravaganza. so so the equipment is a lot. So it's interesting. That's kind of my goal. Yes, to expand, but I think we need to do it calculated and not just like, oh, like this neighborhood's hot, let's put a reformer studio. And maybe that is not every neighborhood has like the demographic for that. I think there's age, there's, obviously income and drivability. So there's a lot of things to look at. I mean, I know we are in the time where you are going to see one on every neighborhood or on every corner in every neighborhood, but will they all succeed? I'm not sure.
Mm.
And as you know, it's a hard business. Like it's a lot. There's a lot of moving pieces.
Yeah. Well, I think looking at what will make a business survive or not, you need to have the capacity per class. So you bring, I mean, the biggest expense really outside of rent is paying the instructors. So
Yeah.
you need to have like the profit margin per class for it to work. And I think that's why like a large group reformer studio does well. And then also you see a lot of hybrid studios, particularly in Australia, where it's got like group reformer and then mat. So
Mhm.
then they've got the capacity to really send it to with the mat as well. So
Yeah.
I think that's pretty. It's a pretty strong way to go about it. I think anyone who's got like a capacity of probably less than 10 or even smaller is going to really struggle because you're going to have to put the price point up so high, which is going to restrict the amount of people again that can come in.
Yeah.
So unless your offering has like a really uh, well-established target market that really wants it and is willing to pay, I think that's naturally going to be less and less if you look at all the demographics out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So expanding with that model probably won't be as effective as bringing the price point down, expanding the capacity, and then still teaching amazing classes too,
Right.
obviously.
Right.
Yeah. So it's cool. It's a cool way to think, and then how would you necessarily assess the suburb based on A, B, and C?
I mean, I think that's kind of what we're looking at now because we are seeing three different neighborhoods and what is working and what isn't and what like the price point they're willing to bear and also like really just looking at like booking habits and are they booking, we use a third party. Most of our bookings are obviously in-house, but we see the third party and the third party is stronger in certain neighborhoods.
Mm.
So it's all new data because it's all new for us, but it is really interesting to see that a neighborhood that I thought for sure would, perform one way is actually not. And then another neighborhood is very like it's Pilates is perfect for this neighborhood. Like the demographic suits it, the people are loyal, the people are dedicated. So and then you kind of I see like the more in a neighborhood that has maybe more apartments or closer to um freeways and things like that is lots of late cancels, lots of third party bookings, um, just completely different clientele, but they all want the same thing. They want the same class, but it's just interesting to see that. So now I think we'll be looking at it with like a whole new set of eyes because before it was just like, well, this is where my friends live. Let's open a Pilates studio here.
Hook them up. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And we could do that forever here in Las Vegas. There's a lot of great neighborhoods. So now I think it's like, okay, if they're, maybe on the older range, that more 50 plus and they care more about like easy access, not like wanting to drive very far. That's, the maybe the reformer studio that they no bells and whistles. They want good reformer classes. They want them, prime times and that's it. And then I think in demographics, maybe that's more going to be our 20 to, 35-year-olds. That's where I think they want all the bells and whistles. They want the Cadillac class. They want maybe a HIT class. And they want classes all hours of the day, but they want them to be less expensive. So it's interesting to see that. It was something that I didn't really consider. I just assumed like they would all be the same, but it's nice. I mean, because we're small, because it's just me, I can make that decision to pivot and cut a class, add a different piece of equipment and change things.
Mhm.
It's a little bit of whiplash for, I think, some of my staff and my clients, but at the same time, it's like, this isn't working. Let's find what is. So it'll be really nice to have like maybe another year's worth of data before we like keep moving on to see like where we're going to put what next.
Mhm. Oh, how exciting.
Yeah. I mean, it's exciting. I mean, it's a lot. I think, again, that whole part about not being three of me is where I'm also going to be like deciding what's next as far as like, do we, I mean, the question keeps coming, are we licensing? Are we franchising? Am I hiring a partner or a manager, or because there's got to be something.
Yep.
I can't keep driving around town to all of the locations every single day. It's really hard. I mean, every door and then every new staff member, every new product that we offer, every single thing just kind of stretches you just a little thinner.
Mhm.
And you start to become that person who's doing everything just okay and not great. And
Yeah.
it's tough. So
Yep.
we'll see.
Yeah, so it's probably about learning how to say no to certain things as well,
Yeah.
because your time isn't unlimited.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like that's a big challenge for a lot of studio owners, is knowing how to say no.
Yeah.
Because you get so many requests from so many different people all the time. You know, you got the instructors, you got the clients,
Yeah.
and then new potential locations. And so, how have you found that journey so far? I know earlier today you said that you're definitely a yes person, but how are you going with the no as well?
Yeah, I'm learning that. This last year has been the year of learning the hard way that no's are important and you can't make everyone happy and you can't be everyone's favorite person. And that's been hard because the first, year or two of the ride has just been so amazing. And it's just like giving Pilates to people for the first time, introducing them to like a different way than maybe they've seen it before. Lots of happy, lots of great, lots of growth. But then with the growth comes, like you said, opportunities and things that maybe are not the right fit, or people that come into your organization that are not the right fit, and having to figure out how to navigate those types of things. So I've been learning a lot. I hired a mentor, like just business coach mentor, because it's kind of lonely when you're the only one doing all these things by yourself. And not everyone's happy with your decisions, of course. But yeah, so I have learned this year that no is a single word answer. And so I just have to stick to my guns and my gut and say no to things. Or is the simple question, is this going to is this going to grow our business, or, grow it, give us more exposure, or, make the people who are here already happy. For example, things like decisions like bringing you to the studio. Like this is a good thing for my staff to like have. Like we don't get a lot of education that just rolls through Las Vegas, so it's like any opportunity like that. So when things do come across my plate, it's more okay. Like, is it a positive, or is it something that's going to drain us? But is the outcome, for the positive? And if it's not, now we just have to be like, no, that's not for us. At least
Mm.
not right now.
Yep.
It's never like a forever no with me, like circle back around, ask me again in 6 months type of thing. But our capacity right now is this, and we can't,
Yep.
or we can. So yeah.
Yeah, that's really important. I feel like no's are almost more important than yeses in a way, because you kind of have to choose where you're putting your energy.
Yeah.
And if you spread yourself really thin, then you're not really going to get anything done at a standard that's,
Yeah.
satisfactory.
Yeah.
So being able to say no to the smallest things or potentially big things, it requires like a philosophy and like you need a direction of what you're trying to do.
Right.
Because if you don't have any kind of predetermined destination, then any direction's fine. But, if you know
Yeah.
exactly where you want to go, then it's much easier to say no to things which aren't taking you the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I know when you're new, and I'm assuming because we are talking a lot about Pilates, there's going to be a lot of people who are new listening, that are new business owners or new. It's in the beginning, you might have to say yes to things. I know that you and Anesti talked about this. Like you have to do things for free. You have to I still do a lot of things for free. Don't get me wrong. Like teaching and events and, like letting people come into our space without a rent. We do lots of great things like that. And I think you should. You kind of have to, because otherwise no one will find you or no one
Mhm.
will see you. But yes, there is a day where you're like, we actually just can't. We physically cannot. So it makes it easier. But for me, it was really hard to come to that place because I just I'm obviously super positive about the business and positive about our message and everything. So to me, like no was like anti the good, like no, we have to be everywhere. We have to do everything. But like I just really started to realize like, well, we're like this event didn't go that well, or we didn't give them the experience that I wanted to give them. And so you start to see what the repercussion of that
Mm.
is,
Yep.
and really feeling that pretty heavily over the last year. And part of it was just truly growing pains and expansion. And you don't know what you don't know.
Mhm.
But I'm coming out of this last year, year 3, with a clearer picture of boundaries and no. I say that with a smile because it's hard.
I do think that if we're going to look at all the studio owners and put them in some kind of spectrum of people that are engaging in like educational content, instructing, getting their instructors new information, you'd definitely be up the high end of like getting people into the studio to run workshops. So, what is it that is such a big motivating factor for you? That I know that you've been getting in a couple of Australians over the last couple of years, which has
Yeah,
been
we
pretty cool.
have. Shout out to Australia.
Yeah. So, my assumption would be that because the athletic version of reformer training is pretty developed in Australia, that you're kind of seeking that kind of
Yeah,
insight. Yep.
absolutely. I think there's a few things. I mean, again, I am a yes person, so like if I get something across my desk, but I do kind of try to interact with you guys, and I'm even myself like before I opened the studio, there used to be this really beautiful festival called Momentum Fest, and I'm still like obviously a newbie to Pilates as far as like the elders and all of that is concerned, and so I don't have many years of like before I opened the studio to talk about, but there was that time when I was in teacher training and I went to there was a festival for Pilates. I'm like, this is amazing. Like, and I was there and I was learning. I met all these great teachers from across the country. And I was like, none of that's happening here. I mean, I got really lucky that we had just opened actually when I met you, someone had brought you in, and there is another studio who brings people in. So it's like there's 2 of us that are like, kind of bringing people through. And I know some people get continuing ed through their equipment company, like through Balance Body or through Stop Mary Theo. So that's great. But I personally, in my old career, especially in cosmetology, you had to like seek out continuing education or you would die. You would stop getting clients. So it's like very ingrained in me that you have to keep learning because everything changes. And I think in Pilates, that couldn't be like, you have to. I mean, if you have the internet, you understand that it's evolving and changing. And our clients are watching that too. So it's like
Mm.
we have to stay up on it. And I think that not everyone has the means or the ability to like leave home and go to a Pilates festival or go to like I'm going next week to Miami to learn more about mat Pilates with a really cool Pilates teacher. Not everyone can do that. So the best thing that I can do for my coaches is just try to get you guys here and put it on the schedule and clear the schedule so that they have time to do it. And we also have like the teachers that like lost their classes that, are normally going when a training is here. I try to like give them extra on the back end, or they're teaching at another location so they can come to you on the day, like the opposite day. So it's like I'm trying to bring it in with intention so that they get the opportunity to take the extra education at like the easiest route possible, because life is hard. Like there's so much. Not every Pilates teacher just does Pilates. A lot of them have other jobs. Some of them are moms. Some of them, when they're not with us, they're at another studio. So my goal is just to like make it easy for them,
Mhm.
so that they can stay on top of it, because we want the clients to like have the benefit of, the best teachers who are learning the best things. And it's reciprocal. Like every level up we take, for me, for them, for the clients, it just, again, it's kind of just keeping us at our peak and trying to stay there. And yeah, so, but I'm really big on continuing education. I think, I wish there was more of it. And thank goodness for Australia for sending you guys over because there's not a lot in the US right now. We've had a few people come through, but if you're listening and you are a traveling coach, come say hi.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like the market for that's expanding now.
Yeah.
A lot of people are taking the leap from being like a full-time instructor to creating their own
Yeah.
workshops and kind of basically writing down the methodology and philosophy and strategies and just sharing that.
Yeah. And
Yep.
it just re-inspires you, even if you don't subscribe to someone like exactly how they teach. I don't think that matters. Honestly, you might not like how they teach at all, but I think that it's just good to get a separate or like get out of your box, like hear how someone else cues. It's like the observation we do when we're in teacher training. Why does that stop the second that we're like done? Like we should keep observing and learning from other people. And maybe that what you get out of it is I don't really want to teach like that. I would rather like maybe it's like a whole new like career change. I'm going to teach more in this way. I know a lot of people are like now going back to classical or, things that are inspiring them in other ways. So it's just really good for you. And if you're not taking other people's classes or trying to get into workshops and things like that, then I think you're not long for this industry because you gotta stay up.
Yeah, that student mindset's important.
Yeah.
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 Keep bringing in new data, new information.
Yeah.
Keep optimizing the strategies you've already got. I think that, it is a shame if someone was to, like sometimes I've heard this in the past from different people. They'll say, maybe they've been an instructor for like 5+ years, or they'll say, "Oh, look, I've kind of done everything now." I'm like, "Really?" Like, I don't know. I don't think
Yeah.
you've done everything.
I don't think
There's a lot
so.
of things to do, and there's a lot of a lot of innovation that's possible, and a lot of different ways you can challenge yourself. But all that really tells me is that they've achieved everything they think or that they are aware of.
Sure.
So there's usually people hit a wall, particularly a new instructor. Maybe they've been teaching for 6 months and they've kind of taught every exercise in the book that they've seen. They're like, "Oh, I've taught everything now." Like,
Yeah.
well, how about trying to find new ways to combine things that already work? How about
Yeah.
finding like new movement layers? So how about incorporating different movement patterns? How about trying to be more aware of like how successful your cues are and optimizing the delivery? There's like so many things you could like zoom in on
Yeah.
to get better at.
Yeah.
But it's often the case that, once you've taught everything that you're aware of, you kind of feel like that's it. But no, it's kind of like almost like, have you seen these art form where someone will draw like, I think it's usually digitally, like some kind of image, and you zoom in on it, and then you zooming in on like another, like I don't know, like painting or image, and then
Oh,
you zoom in on a part of that, and then it keeps expanding again,
yeah.
and so that you like almost watching this thing for like 60 seconds, and the first thing you saw after you've zoomed in like 6 times, like every picture has like another picture has another picture,
Yeah.
and that's kind of I think what's possible too with being an instructor, because
Agree.
you get to the point where you've seen everything, but if you focus on one thing more specifically, then a whole new world opens up of what you could be better at.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, there's no real end point. No one can really put their hand up and say I've done it.
Yeah.
Before Pilates, I finished it. Like you didn't really get there. I don't think there is an end point.
Yeah. And I think even in your own body and your own practice, like every year something changes in your body. We were just talking about that last night on the rooftop. Like I'm like, all of a sudden, those leg circles don't feel so good to me, and I don't know why, but like my body, like one of my muscles is deficient. That glute needs to be refired. I'm not sure, but I think that if you can notice those things about yourself, you have to imagine that your clients feel the same way. And also, you're really lucky, I guess, if you're teaching the same like 5 people every day, because most of us are teaching 5 people plus 5 new faces. So even if you were teaching the same class, like it can't be the same because you have
Mhm.
different bodies in front of you.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I think you're right. You just have to zoom out a little bit. And I do see the instructor burnout. I get it. And I think that's where things like what you do is really important. So like the people who have the desire to share their knowledge or travel or create content or there's other ways you can kind of stay in the industry and maybe shake off some of those hours that you're, running across town to 6 different studios and
Mm.
stay more inspired and maybe dial back in the studio or whatever you need to do to get rid of that, like that fatigue of, the endless monotony of teaching a class back after back after back. But
I think a big part of that too is that if someone was to say, I've got 30 years of experience teaching, most people would actually be saying, I've done 1 year 30 times, because they haven't actually like kept on stressing themselves with like more challenging environments and bigger platforms and like bigger enterprises. They've kind of stayed at like a level of teaching which was kind of familiar, and that's why it's so hard now, because you don't have the excitement or the stress, which is kind of like pulling you forward.
Yeah.
So I think anyone in that situation where you feel like you've lost your enthusiasm, you need to tweak the environment or your approach to stress yourself more. You need to be more stressed. Stress is good.
Yeah, it
Um,
is.
yeah,
It's
like that growth phase, it
Yeah.
comes from being, stressed. If you look at the way nature works like that, like for a tree to be strong and dynamic, it actually needs the wind to push it around for it to develop the roots. If it doesn't get pushed around by the wind and then all of a sudden a big storm comes through, it just falls over.
Yeah.
So the stress is required to improve. So you have to seek out environments that are stressful to keep growing. So
Yeah.
for me, that was the one thing that I was always trying to figure out, is like, what's the next thing I could do to stress myself more, different environments, different countries, different anything. And yeah, seeking adversity is, I think, the fast track to like optimizing and growing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that I've ever intentionally sought it, but I find that
It sounds like you've been finding
when
it.
I find it, I mean, that's just it. It'll either break you or make you, but if you, obviously with caution, seek the things that are going to, um, like they're not going to break you. What is the worst thing that can happen? You find a studio that you do like, or you find that you really like working with a different population, or you find that, this brand name, logo, color, whatever your big risk is just needs to be changed a little bit. I mean, most things we're really lucky, we're really blessed. This is a very beautiful industry full of, mostly able-bodied people, and we're really, really lucky. But yeah, like the worst thing, that happens is, a class gets canceled, or like someone gets turned away after 5-minute policy. Like we're not our big leaps and things that are, maybe making us burned out or unhappy are easily fixable, and just, pivot, try something new. But yes, I think I was just explained this in another podcast friend, about like the muscle, I mean, it's muscles, like we have to break them down to build them. And, sometimes it's not very fun,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I see that feedback as information. So if it wasn't successful, obviously the initial response can be like an emotional response where you feel a certain way about it, and that's
Yeah.
100% fine.
Yeah.
But what it's really telling you is that, to get a certain outcome that you're looking for, that input wasn't the way to do it. So
Right.
the quicker you learn that, then the quicker you can go again. And basically, to get anywhere, you have to fail quickly and like keep moving, keep the
Yeah.
momentum. So fear of failure really is like probably the biggest inhibitor to growth.
Yeah.
So
We have it all backwards, but it's hard when you're in it sometimes to see that. But yes, 1,000% agree. I mean, a lot of the things that have gone wrong or gone not the way I imagined were clearly the best, like, lesson slash, like, that made us do this, that ended up being this. And which also kind of just tells you that you really, as much as we want to plan and like micromanage and all the things, you just can't, because otherwise you'll be so fixated on this path that you'll miss all of the good things that are happening around you, or the opportunities to change or pivot like will pass you by. So like I was saying, like I was nervous to like do this, like take the leap, quit my job, open the studio. But if I had, 3 years could have gone by and I would be sitting here going to all these other Pilates studios wishing one of them were mine, and that would be really heartbreaking.
yeah.
So, but there was a lot of heartbreak to get here, so it's fine.
You're just choosing your heart race.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I like that. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Oh, it's like the pain of discipline or the pain of regret, I suppose. Or,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think, yeah, at the end of the day, you're going to have more respect for yourself if you're just shooting shots.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, obviously, if you feel a certain way that you're interested in it, that's like enough of a call to action that you should do something about it. But then if you actually just do it, Like, I really don't think you can lose, because at least you know within yourself that you did it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that, I think the worst thing that could happen would be to end up, a couple of years down the track having what you just said then, like, oh, I had the inclination to do it. I could have done it, didn't do it, and now look at how successful it is, and then, that could have been me. Like, that feeling, I think, would be just compounded so much worse into the future than taking a chance and just seeing what happens.
Yeah. Yeah. If you can, I think if you have the support, whether it's financially or personally or like mentally, to take the risk, I think obviously, yes, you should. But I think if you're risk averse, then this probably isn't the right space. But that's okay. That's like not for everyone.
Yep.
'Cause that's one thing that I've found, as especially like hanging out in like groups of other people who are business owners and entrepreneurs, is you kind of start to see all the things they're doing and you're like, wow, like, should I be doing that? Should I be doing that? Like, you kind of start to see there's this opportunity and there's this and there's that. And um there's a lot of risk involved in a lot of those things. And I see people who are like, well, I'm gonna, open this business, or I'm gonna do this thing. And I truly don't think that it is for everyone.
Mm.
And not because it's like a mental capacity or a strength thing, but if you don't have the right support, or you don't have maybe the delusion that we talked about at the top, it can wreck you, and not in the best way. So it's not for everybody, but if you have that like little fire inside of you that you've had, for me, I had it for so long. I just didn't know. For me, I just needed the direction. I needed the thing, because I had it. I had everything ready. Like my willpower was there and my delusion was there and all of that. I just didn't know what to focus it into. So the second that I found that, like, I was ready to make the mistakes and go. Um, but I think that there are some people that like the safety of just like, nope, I like this for my day or for my life, and that's fine too.
It's definitely fine.
Yeah.
I think the highs are higher and the lows are lower. So,
Yeah.
when you're doing things your own way, like, the wins are so much more satisfying, but the losses are so much like more
Devastating.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you're kind of choosing to live life on a different kind of like extreme.
It's almost like we're gambling.
Yeah.
Like we're putting it all in black or whatever.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, you're just putting it all on yourself, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think also that if you have that desire within you to do it, what will happen is, like, if you kind of got a growth mindset, entrepreneurial spirit, you're like a high performer, you like to optimize things, you like to perform well, it won't take you too long in any environment where you're going to hit the ceiling, where it's like you keep growing, but the environment won't let you.
Yeah.
So, like, if you're kind of like banging your head against the wall in a certain space, there's probably a good indication that you should, if you've outgrown that environment, you should probably do it your own way.
Yeah.
Because I remember back when I was like within a franchise structure, and I would always be like that annoying person, just like questioning everything, like,
Why?
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'd be figuring it out, and then you'd find the contradictions, and you'd be like, what about this? And you'd be making these suggestions which would make it better, but all you're doing is annoying people that are in that position of authority. And
Yeah.
as soon as you get to that point, you're kind of like, okay, well, yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do it.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
think that I think the people who are ready for it know, like you said, like you're asking the questions and you're like, well, I could do this better.
Yeah.
Or I could, like, you're looking at the ceiling and you're like, I could change that, so you know who you are when you're ready.
You know who you are.
You know who you are.
Good. So, one thing I always love about Las Vegas is everyone's so happy, and so I think you're putting that down to the sun. But also, it's a very stimulating environment. You got a lot of things happening here.
There's a lot.
I mean, you got like world class entertainment like every day of the week. And I'm definitely looking forward to exploring more of that for sure.
Yeah.
It's almost like every time I come here, I feel like I don't have enough time here. So, yeah, I can see why you would choose to stay. Like, it's a pretty fun place.
Yeah, it is. And I think that there's a misconception that you have to be like a gambler. I know I just said that we're gambling. I just said that, but I truly do not gamble in the casinos at all. And I never have. You don't have to be that type of person to live here. It's a like beautiful. I mean, obviously not, the desert isn't for everyone. Some people think the desert is like whatever, but I think the desert's really beautiful, and the sun shines every day. And there's a lot of opportunity. A lot of people are not from here. So, or if they are, like their families only moved here like in the 90s. So it's really fun to kind of like we're seeing a lot of things happen for us. Like we always just joke around like we're becoming like a real city, but we really are. We're finally like having community. I think having the sports teams come to town has been really, really uniting for Vegas because a lot of people, that's the thing about Vegas, it's a 24/7 city. So you don't know your neighbors. Sometimes like you might work literally the complete opposite hours as them. And casinos are like dungeons. And so some people never come outside. And so when I first moved here, it was a little isolating. And that's actually another reason I was selfishly wanting to start the studio because I'm like, well, I can make more friends, I can meet more people. And that has absolutely come true. But we really are evolving right now. Like Vegas is having kind of I think, a moment. We're getting these sporting teams. We are COVID kind of drove other people from California, from Utah, from like neighbor states. So I just think that it's finally becoming more community focused. And you can see that as evident on our rooftop events. We are not the only people doing that. Like there's like 4 or 5 bloggers, bless them. They like literally scour like the Instagram feeds and all of the different like the Eventbrites and all of the like locations where events are listed. And they'll put together like a calendar. And in one week, there's probably, I would say there's at least 10 events. And I would say at least 7 of the 10 are free, and they're all wellness focused and they're all community based, and anything from yoga to high rocks is really big right now. CrossFit, Pilates obviously is having its huge moment. A lot of running, a lot of run clubs, and then sober dance parties. I mean, amazing. So we're really having a moment that is not, I don't think, what people would expect from Las Vegas, which is cool.
Yeah, so it's like a different kind of fun, like a more like health focused, connection
Yeah,
focused.
like kind of like a counter culture, but at the same time, we still like to have fun. But we also recognize that, like, especially those of us who are over 40, the club culture is a little hard for us. Oh, it's so hard for me to keep up with the youngins at the club. We're like trying to plan an outing right now, and I'm like, how are we going to stay up that late? I just don't know. Like, and my 25-year-old assistant is like, oh, he'll be on by 3. It's fine. I'm like, 3 a.m. But back, 20 years ago, I was all about it. But so we love that too. But there's just like wellness is really winning, and it's really cool because I've never seen anything like it. And I think it's happening all over the world because longevity is, really becoming, it's not about necessarily spending money on clothes and yachts and books or books. That's not the right word. Boats, like books. Yeah, spend money on books. People are spending their money on their health, their bodies, and so it's really fun to see people making it fun and not like, again, inaccessible. Like we can do it as a group. We can pay $15 and go to this really cool event on someone's lawn or on a rooftop or at a pool or I mean, we do pop-ins at like clothing stores. I mean, all over. If they have space, we will put a mat down, and it's fun.
I like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like an identity now to be kind of in this kind of wellness community, and that opens you up to kind of being interested in trying these different formats of it. I think it's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
I definitely see that in Australia now. Like the explosion of run clubs is a massive thing. Like in the last
Yeah.
10 years, it went from
Same.
non-existent to like it's pretty much taken over like a part of dating culture now, run clubs,
Yeah.
which is cool because you're getting together with people with the similar interests,
Right. Yeah. I think it's the same reason why people sometimes join churches or something. They're looking for connection in some kind of community that at least they have one thing in common. So I think the fitness eventing is really helping with that, especially because we're coming out of that, everything that happened during COVID, and even not even just COVID, but I think because of social media, like people have really they had isolated themselves quite a lot for quite a few years. And I think COVID just made it like worse. So now people are craving community, craving something, but you have to kind of start somewhere. So wellness or fitness, especially if you like to run or if you like to lift weights or do Pilates, which dance, whatever the thing is, that you're starting from like one point of or like commonality. And what a great one, because if you meet someone at a wellness event, hopefully that means like you're only just going to grow older and healthier together. So
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
yeah.
really nice.
Yeah.
So, you said you moved to Vegas originally in 2009?
2008. Yeah.
2008?
Yeah.
Okay. And within a year you met Jay?
Yeah.
Yeah. So how'd you meet Jay?
We met at the gym. I kind of had a feeling you were going to ask me that because we had just talked about meeting at those events. But yeah, we met at the gym. I was here. I moved out here to do. It was kind of one of those things where like you feel like you've outgrown your space. I had felt like I had outgrown my small city of Salt Lake City, and although I have like the most amazing people there, the most amazing friends, but I just wanted more. But I didn't know what yet. I still was looking for my Pilates studio. But I followed some friends out here and helped open a beauty school because I was doing hair at the time. And that was not my favorite thing at all. So I decided to go back to school because the in-state tuition here was great. And I'm like, perfect. I'm going to get my marketing degree. I'm going to just start fresh. And I was going to a 24-hour fitness, just this tiny little like old gym pretty much every night around like, I can't remember. It was after work. It's like maybe 6 p.m. And I was there all the time. And there was also this cute guy there all the time at the same time. And we were there at the same time for like 6 months. Yeah. And then one day I would always do the group fitness classes. And then I would be on the cardio. I didn't really lift weights then, unless it was in the group fitness class. And so then I would usually like jump on the stepper. I was bored. I was single. I was young. I was there for a while. Like we were there for like, and it was like those like 2-hour gym sessions because what else are we going to do? It was before Netflix. Thank goodness. But anyway, yeah, one day he came over and talked to me and I knew exactly who he was because I'd seen him there for years or months. And, we just started talking and we bonded over music, and he had just graduated from UNLV and was in finance, and I was concerned about going back to school because of the math portion, and he was like, "Oh, I tutored in the math lab." So he used like I can be your tutor, move on me, and yeah, the rest is history. We've been together however long I've been here. It's been a long time. Been together almost 18 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
But yes, we met at the gym, so we are one of those. It does happen. Does happen.
Yeah.
Can't wait till somebody meets at the good place and gets to tell this story.
Yeah.
I can't wait. It will happen. I know it will.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think those kind of stories are the best, because you're kind of doing something that you're passionate about, and then you get these other positive kind of circumstances that kind of work out in your favor.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just talking about that. Like now he works out at home because he has a crazy job on the strip. And I obviously have a crazy schedule. And if I work out, it's obviously at the studio for the most part. And so I was just saying, I'm like, I kind of miss, we used to go when we moved, like when we first got together and moved in together, we used to go to a different 24-hour fitness, but we go early before work together. I'm like, I kind of miss those days of like going to the gym early in the morning. We might have to bring that back. It's fun.
Well, I'm looking forward to meeting Jay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be good.
You will meet.
So, yeah, I think that's important too. Like as a business owner too, like obviously all your time is taken away, but you still have to make time for your own fitness and your own health.
Mm-hmm.
So that seems to be a really common occurrence that I find. I'm speaking to business owners that they say, or instructors even, they started it because they love the classes. They love being on the reformer. They love training, and all of a sudden they're teaching 20 plus classes a week and they never get on it anymore.
Yeah, that is like the weird thing about reformer Pilates is we don't usually do it when we teach it, and that's like a huge misconception. I know when like we were new and our studios were like not full, you could just jump on and do a lot with them. Although I don't really like advise that because you can't see people when you're getting your own workout in. So it's not like we don't really we don't try to do that. But at least back then I was at least, on the reformer a lot more. But you're right, I rarely get on the reformer. It's crazy because we do so much verbal instruction. The good news about the mat classes though is you have to do some of it. I feel like you can't, sometimes they just don't understand your verbal cues. So I definitely get my workout in on the mat, but yes, I feel like there was like a whole year where I like never got in the studio to take class, and it was really kind of sad actually. That's kind of my goal for this year is to be in class more, especially too just to kind of like see what everyone's doing.
Mm-hmm. I like it. Yeah, it's good. It's good to have that intention. Otherwise, yeah, weeks and months go by, and then you kind of like losing connection with the thing you actually like, got you involved.
I know. I have one in my home too, and I just look at it. I'm like, she's so pretty.
Cute.
Yeah, Just like she's like behind, like it's behind where I like work. So it like is the backdrop of like my Zoom calls and stuff. And I'm like, yeah, we'll get like because I used to like write my classes and all the things, but I teach so infrequently now. And when I teach, it's very last minute because I'm usually subbing. So it's like I don't it's a lot of on the fly teaching, we'll just say that. But again, don't do as I say. Or do as I do as I say. But yeah, I wish that I had a little bit more time for that. But I think that's kind of what back to like what we were talking about before with like what's next with our growth is really dialing back what I am good at. And I feel like for me, I could probably turn a lot of the admin stuff over at this point. I don't enjoy it. I don't love it. I'm not good at it. It's a reluctancy. Like you have to do it because you're the business owner. But what I'm good at is connecting with the community and teaching and just being in the studio. It's just so much fun to be there. So my goal really truly is to get back to more of that, which will then lend naturally to taking more classes.
Yes. Now, just before we wrap up, just thinking back on all the experiences you've had in the last 3 years plus, if you could somehow speak to yourself before you're going to go on this journey or give yourself some kind of advice, is there anything that you've learnt that would be like a major advantage to know in advance?
I don't know. I think I could go back and give myself the advice to like avoid like a few, situations that went a little sideways or a few things that feel like they were really hard and devastating at the time. But at the same time, just like we talked about, like if those things didn't happen, would I have missed something else or would I have not grown or learned, would I just be still sitting in that 10 studio reformer with no other locations or expansion? So I kind of like that I went into it naive, but with little nuggets of wisdom from like past experiences. So I wasn't completely flying blind, but I think that it's almost, I'm glad that I did because if I would have known some of the things, I might have hesitated and I wouldn't be here. So, not really. Yes. I'm glad I found the right thing because I think having the right passion for it is why I'll push forward even when things are really, really, really hard. If I didn't love Pilates or the movement of Pilates, then I wouldn't be here. I would have given up. I would have been like, someone else can take over. I'll just be like an absentee owner or whatever. I'll just come take classes. But no, I just love it too much. So I think blind optimism was the right thing for me.
I think that's really interesting, to say that you, despite having now, you can look back in hindsight and see everything that happened, and you still choose to have those experiences that were perceived at the time as bad or hard or potentially negative. Knowing all that in advance, the positive outcome from having those experiences still outweighs those times.
I think so.
That's awesome.
Everything that was really hard, the sky is falling. And I'm going through that, like, honestly, like every other week, I feel like. But, and I'm really lucky. I have Jay. My mom is involved in the business. My mom teaches Pilates. You're going to meet my mom too. She's a teacher for us. I trained her. Shout out to mom. But I have people that will just be like, but what else are you going to do? Like, are you going to just quit? Are you going to go home? Like, no, so it's really nice to have someone give me that perspective to just be like, it's just another day. It's just another problem. It will resolve itself or you'll have to make whatever change, but is that worth just calling it quits and, whatever? And it's not, it's right. I've got 50 people who depend on me and I've got a community of thousands of people who depend on us to show up every day. So I can't let a bad, situation with a disgruntled client or a disgruntled teacher or whatever the things are that feel really, really hard at the time. I can't let that derail the whole entire reason why we're here. So, and like you said, it does make me stronger and it makes me wiser and I'm doing all the things, but yeah, but if I would have known there would be these days, I probably wouldn't have left that like comfortable, fun, happy job that I had before. So I'm glad I didn't know.
Yep.
Full transparency.
Yeah. I get you. I suppose it's really just the entry price, to like this next best version of yourself, like you don't really get there without having to overcome something.
Yeah.
So like the obstacle is the way, which is kind of like a really common phrase that, Stoicism is all about. Kind of the pathway to growth is the obstacle. Like
Yeah.
you're kind of looking at it like the stepping stones, because when you engage with it and overcome it, that is the growth that you're getting. So
Yeah.
that kind of reframe, I feel like, is a superpower, because it changes your perspective on what normally you'd be trying to avoid. You're actually trying to find now, because that's just the quickest way to get better. So
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me started on this stuff, because we can talk all day.
Yeah.
And I just feel like if you're really engaging with the personal development side of things, naturally the business is going to grow too, because everything's so connected.
Yeah.
But I just want to say thank you so much for making some time to come in to be on the podcast today. Thanks for having me in Las Vegas. Really excited for the workshops. Really impressed with how much you've grown in the last couple of years.
Thank you. Yeah, we buried the lead of like, we met at your workshop at another studio. I had been open for like 5 months, and I gave you a shirt from The Good Place, and I said, when you come back to America, please consider us. And I had no idea what 3 years or when it would be, and also would I be able to host you. And here we are. So I'm so glad that we stay connected, and kind of a fun full circle moment.
Yeah. It's beautiful. Yeah, I still have that shirt. It's a very comfortable shirt. Yeah.
We do really good merch. It's one of our strengths.
Oh yeah, I noticed your socks yesterday too. Actually, really cool. I love that. The design was awesome. So yeah, I'm really impressed and really grateful, and really excited for these events we've got coming up, and also excited to kind of witness your journey moving forward. Like all the decisions you choose to make, and based on like what you've done so far, I can only expect like really exciting things.
Well, thank you. I'm very honored to be here. It's a amazing journey, and I agree. I think like who knows where the future will take us, but I think it's going to be very good.
Yeah, I believe so too. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great day, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Bye.